Big Bend National Park is in South Texas, along the Rio Grande River, the border between the United States and Mexico. It's one of the darkest places in the United States, if not the world, but it's very difficult to get there. And in fact, unless you intend to drive the entire way to Big Bend from wherever you are, there are only two ways to get to the national park. You can either fly to Midland Airport, 235 miles away from the park, and drive from there, or you can fly into El Paso Airport, 330 miles away. Hello and welcome to the program, Tsula's Big Adventures with me, Tsula. Welcome to Big Bend National Park. In this episode, we're going to go stargazing in Big Bend, a Bortle One site. It's hard to get to though. You have to fly to either El Paso or Midland, Texas. Those are the closest airports. Midland is 235 miles to Big Bend and El Paso is 330 miles. So even after flying to one of those towns, you still have a 3 or 4 hour drive at least. But once you get here, it's a great place for stargazing. It's in the desert. It's 3 zones actually, a riparian zone around the Rio Grande River, which is also the border between the United States and Mexico. And then you have mostly Chihuahuan Desert. And then you have here in the Chisos Mountains, you have mountainous habitat. So varied habitat, great for birds. It's a great place for birding. And the night skies are spectacular here because desert environment is dry. It doesn't get much precipitation. It's low humidity. And last night got just a little taste of it when the clouds parted. And I hope to do some more in the following nights. We're going to be here 4 nights. They have 6 campgrounds here, but we decided to stay in the Chisos Mountains Lodge. And we're going to hike during the day because there's excellent hiking here. This park was established in 1944 by act of Congress, signed into law by President Franklin Roosevelt. And the park is here due in part to the efforts of a guy named Townsend who lived here his whole life and fought vigorously to preserve this beautiful area. It's just spectacular scenery. It's a big park. It's 1,200 square miles. That's about 760,000 acres. Plenty of open skies and places to go for dark areas for stargazing. Here at the lodge, there are a lot of lights around the lodge. There's a visitor center, so this area wasn't ideal, but I did take my telescope out last night and looked at a few things, but there are plenty of places here to get under Bortle One skies, and we'll get to that when it gets dark. But for now, we're going to take a hike on probably the most famous trail here, the Rim Trail, up into the Chisos Mountains. About 7,800 feet is the highest point here at Emery Peak, and we're going to go up there. So Big Bend National Park is a Bortle One, and so the stargazing here is fantastic, but there are a lot of localized lights at the Chisos Mountain Lodge, and although I did just put the telescope right outside of our room at the lodge and stargaze, it'd be better to get away from the lodge lights. And the nice thing about this park is that it has a lot of these backcountry roads, so all you have to do is just drive down any one of these roads and set up your telescope, and you can get some Bortle One stargazing done. It's fantastic. The winter Milky Way is so bright, and it's just beautiful all the way across the sky from Cassiopeia to Orion. So I thought I'd come back here after it gets dark and do some stargazing. And I also thought these beautiful Chisos Mountains would make a fantastic foreground for some time lapses of the Milky Way, maybe Orion. So I'm going to come back here after dark and do some stargazing. Big Bend National Park in South Texas is one of the best places in the United States for stargazing. It's a Bortle One, and it's the Chihuahuan Desert, so low humidity, very low rainfall, but very hard to get here. And so we flew to Midland, Texas, and then drove from there. So I was limited to what I could bring in a suitcase, so I just brought this 80mm refractor and a tripod, an Altaz mount, and I had one good night of stargazing, and then Pepper accidentally knocked my tripod over and broke it. So now all I have is my travel tripod, which my camera is on at the moment. So as soon as I finish making this scene, I'll do some stargazing, and I hope to get a couple of time lapses as well. Mars is visible, and Jupiter and Venus for a little while, and Andromeda Galaxy is naked eye, and all kinds of things. So I've seen all sorts of things. It's been wonderful. The winter Milky Way is very clear, and it's just beautiful. So I'm gonna start stargazing now, and I'll be back soon. There's Orion. And below Orion is Lepus with its incredible double stars and multiple star systems that I was studying tonight. And the winter Milky Way, there's Sirius. The winter Milky Way was very clear. There's Jupiter. It was so bright, it was causing me to lose my dark adaptation. And it's in Pisces right now, which is about to set. But Andromeda was naked eye, and I also saw the Triangulum Galaxy M33 naked eye. And this is looking north, where the Milky Way comes down through Cassiopeia, and it was very, very clear. Big Bend National Park is at 29 degrees latitude, I think, so I took advantage of being at such a low latitude to look at some things in Lepus, M79, and also some things in Canis Major, M41 and M47, and some things in Puppis that are kind of hard for me to see normally, NGC 2477, and also a double star in Lepus, a very obscure one that I needed to see for my double star observing program, and lots of other things. So it's been fun, a little bit challenging on that tripod, but other than that, it's been fun, fun, fun. So if you ever get a chance to come to South Texas, be sure to check out Big Bend National Park for some great stargazing. Wow, I just had a fantastic night of stargazing here at Big Bend National Park. It was incredibly clear evening, not a cloud in the sky. The limited magnitude was 7. I saw too many great things to name. If with my little 80 millimeter refractor. Big Bend National Park, in addition to being a Bortle One, is an international dark sky site, and there are no flight paths over it, so no planes to interfere with your pictures or your stargazing. That's really nice. I only saw one satellite, in fact. Unfortunately, I only saw 2 meteors, but just incredibly clear, the winter Milky Way all the way across the sky. I saw the Gegenschein, and it was just an incredible evening. I'll never forget. So beautiful. So if you want to find a dark sky site that's incomparable, Big Bend National Park can't be beat. So that concludes our trip stargazing in Big Bend National Park. I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, get outside and enjoy the night sky. Dark skies forever. Tsula signing off.